All right, welcome to Monday. Go ahead and get out your homework. Now, if you didn't pay any attention, I actually did give you all the answers to this worksheet. So hopefully you did pay attention. But if you didn't, here are the answers. Go ahead and check your work. And for those of you that didn't know that the answers were there, just give me an honest appraisal of how you did. You know, how many you missed. Google Forms question one. Okay, so we're done with addition for a while, right? We're moving on to subtraction. All right, here's your homework tonight on the bottom of the Google Forms. All right, we're going to do subtracting today. Now, here's the deal. There are technically different rules for subtraction. Remember, there were definitely different rules for addition, right? Different if we were adding a 4 plus 3, way different rules. Hopefully, you're becoming a bit comfortable with the rules. Most of you probably don't have them memorized, and the advice I gave you was you need to go through the process each and every time, meaning you should ask yourself, hey, look, I'm adding. Same or different signs? Same signs. What's the rules? Talk yourself through the process. This is course one. We're not in algebra one yet. We got 2 years for that. Next year in pre-algebra, I believe it's chapter 2. When we do negative numbers, you're going to get these same, literally these same classes again. The only difference is I don't put the, this year's notation. I use next year's notation. But it's the same class, and you need to hear this for 2 straight years. Most kids by the end of, I would say 99% of the kids by the end of pre-algebra, they have the rules memorized. Some kids, it takes into algebra 1 to have the rules memorized. But you do need to become, quote, really familiar with these rules. All right, we're going to do subtraction today. So remember, we're talking about these things called integers. Integers are a mixture of the natural numbers, their opposites, and 0. Those are what make up the integers. So the last couple classes, we did addition, and today we're going to do subtraction, right? Today is subtraction. So what is subtraction? Now remember, I made a big deal of saying that addition is grouping two things together and counting them. So if that is addition, grouping and counting, well, what's subtraction? So just as that video illustrated, subtraction is the inverse of addition, right? It's the process of taking something that's already been grouped and taking something away. Now you're like, well, I learned that in kindergarten. Agreed. And you also learned how to do 5 minus 2 in probably first grade. But we're not doing 5 minus 2 today. We're going to be dealing with subtraction and negative numbers. So if you remember for addition, I taught you how to add positive and negative numbers by using the coin method. That was our introduction. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to introduce subtraction using the coin method. So let's just review the coin method. So subtraction. Well, using the coin method, we have two numbers there. I have a 6 and I have a negative 4. So let's represent those with our coins. There are 6 positive coins. Remember, each one of those yellow coins represents the number positive 1. To that, I'm going to group negative coins. I've got 4 negative. You see the minus 4 negative, right? I'm going to group with the 6 positive. I'm going to group together 4 negative coins. Remember, each one of those, I don't know if that's blue or purple, negative coins represents a minus 1. Now look how they're grouped together there. The top 2 coins of each color, that would be 1 minus 1. Well, we know 1 minus 1, that's 0. Well, that's 1 minus 1, that's 0, that's 0. So what are you left with after you do the subtraction? You're left with 2 positive coins, so that's why we know the answer is 2. And you're like, Mr. C, you didn't need to show me the coin method. I already knew that 6 minus 4 was 2. Stay with me, I agree. So think about this. Subtraction is the same as addition in the sense that we're grouping different coins together, positives and negatives. So in other words, that subtraction, it really isn't subtraction, it's addition, it's grouping. I'm grouping, remember the plus means to group, I'm grouping 6 positive coins, but I'm not grouping it with 4 positive coins, I'm grouping it with 4 negative coins. So what am I really adding? Because remember, adding is grouping. I'm adding the opposite of 4. Well, the opposite of 4 is negative 4. That's why I taught you about opposites at the start of this chapter. So it turns out that there's no such thing as subtraction. Or I should say, well, there is something to subtraction, but you can relate subtraction to addition. Subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. Subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. Okay, subtraction, see the subtraction, 6 minus 4. Now look at the bottom there, is the same as adding the opposite. It turns out that 6 minus 4 is exactly the same as 6 plus negative 4. Well, let's see. We know the addition rules. I got a positive 6 and a negative 4. Those are different signs. Different signs you subtract, big minus small. 6 minus 4 is 2. We have more positives and negatives, so the answer is positive 2. I just turned subtraction into addition. Why in the world would I want to do that? Okay, so let's just write this down and then I'll answer my question. Subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. Subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. Subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. I just said that 3 times. Why? That's what we're doing today. Today we're not doing subtraction. We're going to be doing addition again. So what are we going to do? We're going to rewrite subtraction as addition, and then we're just going to follow the addition rules. So check it out. There are no new rules. It's just addition. We do have to turn the subtraction to addition, though. So I'm going to teach you one and only one thing today. That's to turn subtraction into addition and then use the rules that we did for the last 2 classes. That's kind of cool. We don't have new rules for subtraction because we're always going to turn subtraction into addition. Now, if your head is spinning right now, you heard the words, you don't really understand what it means, let's wait a couple slides and let's see if that's still the case. So since we're not going to do subtraction, we're only going to do addition, let's just review the rules for addition. Remember, these are the rules for addition. Addition can only happen in 2 ways. You're either going to be adding 2 numbers that have the same signs, positive, positive, or a negative and negative. For instance, 4 plus 2. Or negative 4 plus negative 2. Or you're going to have opposite or different signs. The first number is positive, the second number is negative. Or the first number is negative, and the second number is positive. For instance, a positive 4 plus a negative 2. Or a negative 4 plus a positive 2. Okay, those are the only 2 ways that addition can occur. Now, some of you, hopefully, at this point, have the rules memorized for same signs or different signs. Okay? Well, for those that don't, you're going to hear it again. If you need to write this down, write this down. So these are the 2 rules. Remember, if the signs are the same, you simply add the 2 numbers. Now remember, we're technically adding the absolute value of both numbers. But you've done so many of these by now, most of you are probably ignoring the fact that you're adding the absolute value. You're just looking at the 2 numbers and adding them. Last step, you use the original sign. If you're adding positives, the answer is positive. If you're adding negatives, the answer is negative. When the signs are opposite or different, you're still going to take the absolute value of both numbers. You probably are skipping that step and just doing big number minus small number. Then you're going to go back to the original problem and ask yourself, did I have more positive numbers or did I have more negative? And what you're really thinking about is the coin method there. If you had a positive 7 and a negative 5, there's 7 positive coins and there's 5 negative coins. There's more positives. So you use the sign of the largest absolute value. In other words, what did you have more of, positives or negatives? Hopefully that's starting to really click with you. So what are we doing today? We're doing subtraction. But subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. All right, really concentrate. All right, the first one I already know the answer. The second one, I don't know. And the third one, I don't know. But the first one, without using any rule, I know the answer is 5. So let's see how the rule works. The rule states this: there is no subtraction, there's only addition. So you get rid of subtract. Literally, you get rid of the subtraction. You rewrite the problem as addition. So it's going to be the first number, whatever the first number is, plus the opposite of the second number. Well, what's the second number? The second number is 2. What's the opposite of 2? Negative 2. So this problem turns into 7 plus negative 2. Why did we do that? Because now we just follow the addition rules. All right, so I got a 7 and a negative 2. Is that same or different signs? Hey, that's different signs. One's positive, one's negative. So I do absolute value of both, big minus small, 7 minus 2 is 5, and now look, do we have more positives or more negatives? Well, and we're relating this back to the coin method. I have 7 positive numbers, I have 2 negative numbers, therefore there's more positives, so the answer is positive 5. Look at the second one. There is no subtraction. You get rid of subtraction and you turn it into addition. Now, what's the opposite of the second number? Notice, I purposely erased that minus sign. Okay, what's the opposite of 8? Negative 8. If I leave that negative there, the opposite of negative 8 is positive 8. So you need to get rid of that minus sign. Why do we do that? Because now we can follow these addition rules. Same or different signs. We got different signs here. Big minus small. 8 minus 3 is 5, but more negatives and more positives on this one. Look, I got a negative 8 and a positive 3. There are 8 negative coins and 3 positive coins. There's more negative coins. 8 minus 3 is 5, but there's more negative coins, therefore the answer is negative 5. Last one. Negative 4 minus 20. I don't get rid of the first negative. I get rid of the middle negative. You see what I did there? I rewrite it as addition. Negative 4 plus. What's the opposite of 20? Negative 20. Same or different signs. Hey, I got a minus 4 and a minus 20. I got same signs, two negatives. Okay? What do I do? Well, same signs, you add the numbers. 4 plus 20 is 24. And since we were adding negatives, the answer is negative 24. That's pretty slick, right? All right, let's do some together. Here we go. The first one, there is no subtraction. There's only addition. So we get rid of the subtraction. We rewrite it as addition, 17 plus, and then we do the opposite of 10. The opposite of 10 is negative 10. Some people take their pencil or their finger and they cover up that middle negative sign so they can see the numbers. Most of you will need to write this down. Don't try to do it in your head yet. Wait to day 2 to try to do it in your head. Okay? So you rewrite subtraction as addition. Then you follow the addition rules. Hey, do we have same or different signs here? We got different signs, a positive 17 and a negative 10. That's subtraction, big minus small. 17 minus 10 is 7. Did we have more positives or negatives? Hey, we got more positives. We got a 17 are the positives. 10 is the negative. There's 7 more positives. So the answer is positive 7. Middle one. We rewrite it as addition. So we get rid of the middle negative. We rewrite it as addition. We write the opposite of that 18. The opposite of 18 is negative 18. Same or different signs? Different signs. Big minus small. 18 minus 13 is 5. Did we have more positives or more negatives? We have more negatives, so negative 5. Last one. We don't get rid of the first minus sign. We get rid of the middle minus sign. We rewrite it as addition. That would be negative 12 plus. Follow the pattern. The opposite of 18 is negative 18. Same or different signs? Same signs. It's a negative 12, and to that I'm grouping a negative 18, so it's same. Notice on the previous two, on that middle step there, those signs are opposite. Positive 13 and a negative 18. Positive 17 and a negative 10. Now we have a negative 12 and a negative 18. Those are the same signs. That means we add the two numbers. 12 and 18 is 30. And since we were adding negatives, negative 30. Notice what I'm skipping there. That's that step that says absolute value. I'm truly not skipping it. It's just occurring naturally. When I take the absolute value of both numbers, negative 12 is 12, negative 18 is 18. I'm still doing that. I'm just doing it in the process. I'm just not talking, using the words, now take the absolute value of both, because you've done so many of these. Okay, how about you try these 3 all by yourself? Go ahead and pause the video and answer question number 2 on the Google Forms. How'd you do? All right, let's see. We're going to turn all subtraction to addition. So we get rid of the middle minus sign. We write 7 plus because we turn subtraction to addition. And then we write the opposite of 4 is negative 4. Same or different signs? That's different signs. So we subtract big minus small. That would be 7 minus 4 is 3. Do we have more positives or more negatives? If this is the coin method, you'd have 7 positive coins, 4 negative coins. There's way more positives, so the answer is positive 3. Middle one, we get rid of the middle minus sign. We turn it to addition, 3 plus. The opposite of 5 is negative 5. Same or different signs? We got different signs. Okay, let's see. That means subtract, big minus small. 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. And we have more negatives than positives this time. Last one. We don't get rid of both minus signs, just the middle one. We turn subtraction to addition. The opposite of 6 is negative 6. Check it out. We got the same signs. Negative 7, negative 6. That means add. 7 plus 6 is 13, and we're adding negatives. Therefore, the answer is negative 13. All right. So is that it? Unfortunately, no. We can get more we can have more negatives. Check it out. Lots and lots and lots of negatives. Nothing changes. The rule states the same. Be careful and watch what I'm doing here. Read the first one. It says 7 minus negative 2. 7 minus negative 2. Remember, we get rid of subtraction. So we're not getting rid of both of those minus signs. We're getting rid of the first one because it said 7 minus negative 2. We're going to turn it to addition. The opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. Hey, that just says 7 plus 2. I know that answer. It's 9. Hey, that one was easy. Turns out if you have two negative signs, it just turns into a positive. Oh, let's see if that's true here. Let's see. 3 minus negative 8. 3 minus negative 8. That first minus sign turns to a positive. Just the first one. The second one, let's see. The opposite of negative 8 is positive 8. So 3 plus 8, well, that's the same signs. A positive 3 and a positive 8. Well, that's got to be 11. Last one. There's 3 negatives there. We only get rid of that one right there. Now it's negative 4 plus the opposite of negative 20 is 20. Now we got different signs. Okay, negative 4 and a positive 20. So that means subtract 20 minus 4 is 16. What, more positives, more negatives? Well, we got way more positives than negatives, so therefore positive 16. Is it starting to make sense? All right, let's do these together. We don't get rid of both minus signs. We just get rid of that one. We turn it to addition. The opposite of negative 10 is a positive 10. Notice when it's a positive 10, we don't write plus 10. It's just a waste of effort there, right? So we only write the sign when it's negative. 17 plus 10, those are the same signs, so we just add the numbers and they're all positive, so 27. Middle one. We don't get rid of both minus signs, we just get rid of that one. That turns into 13 plus. The opposite of negative 18 is 18. Hey, they're the same signs. That means add. 13 and 18 is 31, and they're both positive, so the answer is positive. Last one. We don't get rid of all the negative signs, just that middle one. That one right there is the one we get rid of when we turn it to addition. Don't forget that it was negative 12. So negative 12 plus, the opposite of negative 18 is positive 18. Check it out. Different signs. Negative 12, positive 18. That means subtract big minus small. 18 minus 12 is 6. More negatives, more positives. More positives this time. So positive 6. You ready to do some by yourself? Okay. Go ahead and pause the video. Do these 3 by yourself and answer the next question on the Google Forms. How'd you do? Well, let's see. Get rid of the first negative, turn it to addition. The opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. 7 plus 4, at least in my world, is 11. Middle one. Don't get rid of both negatives, just the first one. Turn it to addition. The opposite of negative 50 is 50. Hey, same signs again. 31 and 50 is 81. Same signs. Remember, you add, use the signs, the original signs. They're originally positive. Last one. Don't get rid of all the negative signs, just that one. Negative 17 plus, subtraction the same as adding. The opposite of negative 26 is 26. Check it out. We got different signs this time. A negative 17 and a positive 26. That means subtract. 26 minus 17 is 9. More negatives and more positives. We got more positives, so therefore positive 9. I just want to cover this. The worst case scenario is when everything is negative. Here's just 3, and we already did a couple of these. But now, look, everything's negative. This is the worst case scenario. I do want you to notice what happens, though. Look at the original problem and look at what it turns into. Okay, we get rid of that first minus sign. Negative 7 plus, the opposite of negative 2 is a positive 2. When you have two negatives literally next to each other, a minus and a minus, both negatives turn into one positive. See what happened there? That's different signs, big minus small. 7 minus 2 is 5. We have more negatives than positives, so therefore negative 5. When two negatives are next to each other, see the middle there? Right? Two negatives are literally right next to each other. They turn into one positive. Why? We'll follow the rule. Right? And would turn into negative 3 plus. The opposite of negative 8 is positive 8. Those two negatives turn into one positive, which gives you different signs here. Different signs means subtract. Big minus small. 8 minus 3 is 5. There are more positives than negatives, so positive 5. And the last one, when two negatives are next to each other, the first one turns into a positive. And when we do the opposite of a negative 20, we get a positive 20. Therefore, two negatives turn into one positive. Negative 4 plus 20. Opposite signs. Subtract. Big minus small. 20 minus 4 is 16. And we have more positives than negative than 16. All right. If you get the hang of things, you could probably do this one really quickly. We get rid of the middle minus sign. We write negative 17 plus. The opposite of negative 10 is 10. Let's see. Different signs. Negative 17 and a positive 10. That means subtract. 17 minus 10 is 7. But this time we have more negatives than positives. Negative 17 coins, 10 positive, so negative 7. Next one, get rid of that middle minus sign. Negative 13 plus, the opposite of negative 18 is 18. Big minus small, different signs. 18 minus 13 is 15. So 15 is 5. And we have more positives than negatives, so positive 5. Last one. Get rid of that negative. Negative 12 plus, opposite of negative 18 is positive 18. Different signs, subtract. 18 minus 12 is 6, and we have more positives than negatives, so positive 6. Cool? Last thing of the day, there are 3 problems. Do them by yourself and answer the last question on the Google Forms. All right, let's see if you're a hero. Let's see. The first negative turns into a positive. So negative 7 plus, the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. Same or different? Those are different. Negative 7 and a positive 4. It says do big minus small. 7 minus 4 is 3. I got more negatives than positives. Negative 3. Middle one. Plus. Opposite of negative 50 is 50. Different signs. Big minus small. 50 minus 31 is 19. And I have more positives, so the answer is 19. Last one. We don't get rid of both minus signs, just that first one. Negative 17 plus, because subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. The opposite of negative 26 is 26. Different signs. 26 minus 17 is 9. More positives than the negatives, so therefore positive 9. That's it. All right, so realistically, are you going to be an expert at this? Some of you will be. Others of you, it's going to take some time. That's why we're going to do this for 2 days, right? Just be thinking ahead here. A great resource card with examples is what's going to save your bacon, right? You really, really, really need to understand the process. If you understand the process, you can follow the rules if they're written for you. If you don't understand the process, we got big problems. So if you're not understanding the process after the second day, I should be getting an email saying, hey, Mr. C, I need some tutoring. I don't get this. Tell me what to do. That sort of thing. Don't wait until you fail the quiz or the test to ask for help. So once again, here's your homework. That'll do it for today. I will see you guys on Wednesday.